Dov Zakheim is a former Undersecretary of Defense in George W. Bush administration and currently Senior Advisor at Center for Strategic and International Studies. Is now joining us live on this broadcast. Mr. Zakheim, thank you very much for making time for us. French President Emmanuel Macron says that Kiev needs to be realistic with their expectations. And we also had Moscow saying that Kiev is the one which is escalating this war with their counterattack in Kursk. What is really happening? How can you assess those statements? One from the French president and the other from Moscow.
Well, in a sense, both Moscow and President Macron, and for that matter, President Zelensky, are all trying to get Mr. Trump's attention. Trump has made it very clear that he wants to be the one to broker a peace. Presumably, I guess, because he'd like to get that Nobel Peace Prize. And the Ukrainians and Russians are both advancing in territories where they have some advantage in order to strengthen the negotiating hand, as you just were talking about. But all, all eyes are on Trump. And the question then becomes, what does Trump do? Question number one, does he stop helping the Ukrainians? One of the interesting developments is that although Biden did what he said he could do in terms of sending equipment to Ukraine, when he leaves office, there will be at least $2 billion unspent that he could have spent on helping the Ukrainians. And the latest shipment of materiel did not include the highest, most capable systems that Zelensky was asking for. So that already puts Zelensky in a somewhat weaker position. His only hope is to do as much as he can in Kursk while the Russians are advancing in Donetsk, and then essentially listen to what Macron is saying and negotiate, because he knows he's going to have to. Trump is going to insist on it. And the only question then becomes, does Trump essentially tell the Russians, you will have to negotiate a decent agreement or else I'll continue to support the Ukrainians? Then there's one other issue, which of course was also mentioned. Zelensky wants the American guarantee. I don't know that Mr. Trump wants to issue guarantees that might draw the United States into a war with Russia. And
Mr.
Zelensky
Zakheim,
knows very well
Mr. Zakheim,
that Russia, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but let me come in there, because we saw Mr. Zelensky getting very annoyed in an interview and actually saying that he's been asking for weapons from the United States. He's been asking for some sort of, determination from the United States to end the war or to assist them. But he's not been getting that. All he's been getting is talk. How sure is he that when Trump comes into office, that talk will continue and not change?
Well, as I just pointed out, the latest shipment does not include Patriots, which are needed against the Russian ballistic missiles. It doesn't include aircraft. It doesn't include a lot of the things that Zelensky's been begging for. That is under Biden. Now you have Trump, who has made no commitment whatsoever in terms of giving anything to Ukraine. So obviously Zelensky is exceedingly frustrated, and his only hope, as I say, is to make sufficient gains in the Kursk region in order to offset the Russian gains in Donetsk, and hopefully have Trump essentially support him as well as just the Russians, which is what everybody seems to perceive, and broker a decent peace that gets the Ukrainians most of what they want. They're not going to get all of what they want. Macron has made that clear. I don't think he's speaking just for himself anymore. He's probably reflecting actually very much what Mr. Trump is thinking.
Okay.
So Ukraine is in a corner now, in a very difficult corner.
All right. Mr. Dov Zakheim, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time and for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.